Well, good morning and welcome to my YouTube channel. So this morning I've come up to Glencoe. We've had quite a lot of snow, well, probably over the last couple of weeks, and I thought before the rain comes and gets rid of most of the snow, I'll take the opportunity and come up. So as you can see, right behind me is Buccaletta's Moor. I've got the Glencoe ski centre up there, and then I've got Rannoch Moor over on my far right, and there's a sunrise about to happen. So what my plan is today is to go and find lone trees and take some photographs of lone trees. So join me and let's see where this journey takes us. So my first composition here is of this lone tree. So my intention is I'm going to take shots this direction and kind of silhouette the tree out so that I've got some hopefully sunrise colour in the sky. I've focused in on the tree. I've got f8 1/6 of a second because it's really low light, and I'm still shooting at ISO 100. And the reason I can shoot at ISO 100 is because I've slowed that shutter speed right down. So the other things when I'm looking at the composition here of the tree, I'm really low down because I want to be able to see Schiehallion Mountain on the right hand side under one of the branches. I've then got another mountain on the left hand side, and then the bottom of that branch on the left is actually just above the horizon line of all the moor here. So that's why I'm shooting really low, just to make sure that nothing overlaps and doesn't get in the way of the scene. So what I'll do is I'll take 3 or 4 images here. I'm using the rocks here as foreground interest. I'll turn the camera over, I'll take some portrait shots, I'll zoom in, I'll zoom out, and then what I'll then do is start to make my way around, and then that way we're facing the Buccale, so that if a sunrise does come up, I'm hoping that the colour on the Buccale, and we'll have the tree in the foreground, could be quite spectacular. Fingers crossed. Here's hoping the weather's for us this morning. There's a wee burn over there beside the tree, and luckily I did a wee recce before I came up, as in before I got to the tree, to find out how to cross the burn. And luckily there's snow tracks because I was able to find my feet prints and get back to the spot that had the shortest distance to jump over the burn with all my equipment, so I didn't fall in. But the composition I've got here, if you can see, is I've got the tree on this side now, and I'm now facing the Buccaletta's Moor, and I've also got the Glencoe ski centre up there on my left hand side. I've actually put my camera down low because the composition with the tree, I've put the tree in the middle of the 2 mountains, and it's a wee bit busy, but that's okay because I've went low so that the branches are just above the top of the mountain, and they're not, the bottom branch isn't quite overlapping. So from a compositional point of view, I'm hoping that works. But as you can see behind me, all the pinkiness that I had earlier in the sky for the immediate sunrise has kind of went away. But I'm about 25 minutes before the sun actually rises. So I'm hoping if I just sit here and wait, that I might be blessed with some really nice light, because that image with the tree and the buckle lit up in the background would be absolutely stunning. So what I'll do is I'll save battery and I'll turn the camera back on in about 20 minutes time. Alright, so I've actually waited about 45 minutes, and I just took the photo pills app out on my phone and I've just checked the direction of the sun, and the sun's not really going to be here till 10 o'clock, but then it's going to be behind the mountain here. So I'm not sure I'm going to get any direct light on this tree this morning. So what I'll do is I'll make the best use of what I've got, and what I'll do is I'll take a whole bunch of different compositions. I've had to speed up my shutter speed a bit because it is getting lighter. So I'm now shooting at a fifth of a second f8 ISO 100. I've got the tree square in the centre of my image with the buckle on the left and the mountains on the right. There's a nice wee halo coming up above the Glencoe ski resort behind me, so I might get a shot of that. But the other thing I've noticed is this little mic. These Rode mics are so temperamental. I had nothing but problems on my NC500 and my Sky trip, and now charged them last night and this one's got hardly any battery. So what I'll do is I'll take images here, I'll take as many shots as I can, I'll go low, I'll go close up, I'll do portrait shots, and then I'll share those images with you. And then what we'll do is we'll get back to the van. I'll try and charge this as much as I can. If not, I've got the kind of wee Rode shotgun mic, but I hate using that because as soon as you turn around you can't hear me, and I know someone had made a comment about bad sound in a previous video, but that's the reason. So we'll make the most of what we've got, we'll do our best, and these shots aren't going to be sunrise shots, but they are absolutely beautiful. It's really majestic here. The snow has actually peppered every single mountain. So you've got definition in the mountains, you can see the rocks. It's just incredible, absolutely incredible. Right, I'll stop rabbiting on, I'll save mic time, and we'll catch up later on. Alright, so on my way back to the van, I had to stop because there's a little waterfall in front of the tree here, and what I'm trying to do is the light's really dark, so I'm trying to compensate for the light. So I'm using exposure compensation, because then that way I've got a bright long shutter speed so I can lift all the shadows, and then I've got a slow shutter speed so I can soften the water. But then when I do a slow shutter speed, it explodes the colour of the snow. So what I'll do is I'll blend those images together if they don't work out, and then that way I'll take the best from each image and build an image, because the last thing I need is the snow completely overexposed and wasting the photo. So what I'll do here is I'm going to take a number of different compositions. I'll do some landscape shots and I'll do some portrait shots. I'll zoom in close to the falls, I'll zoom in close to the tree. It's really pretty. So what I'll do is I'll take some shots. So I've got a second f16 ISO 50, just because of the snow being really bright, and I don't want to blow out the highlights in the snow. So what I'll do is I'll take a number of shots, and hopefully I'll be able to share those images with you. So I've pulled in at the side of the road next to the entrance to the Glencoe ski centre on the slip road, so I'm safe. And what I'm trying to do is there's a lone tree that I photographed before, but I can't remember where it is. And it's some way further down that burn. So what we'll do is we'll walk along the road and we'll see if we can find it. I've got no light today anyway, but what we do have is tons of atmosphere, which Glencoe is really famous for. So let's go and enjoy the atmosphere, let's go and try and find this tree, and let's see what extra photos we can get. Alright, so I found the little tree, the lone tree. It's over there. I'll just point to it that way, there it's there. But what we've got is a real misty atmospheric buccal behind it as well. So because I'm using this mic, what I'll do is I'll explain to you what I'm going to do from a photographic point of view. So I've already set my camera up. I've got a 1/5 of a second, I've got f11 and I've got ISO 100. The key thing for me here is to expose for the sky and the mist around the buccal. So what I really want to try and do is make sure that if I set exposure compensation, I can get 4 or 5 shots at different exposure ratings: underexposed, normal exposure and overexposed. And the underexposed shot will help me with the sky and the cloud. The overexposed shot will help me with the shadows, and hopefully the normal exposure will help me with the snow. But we'll wait and see when we see that. So what I'll do, like I did the last time, I'll take quite a lot of shots here, and I'll change the composition. So I'll go landscape first, I'll zoom in, I'll then go portrait, and then I'll zoom in. And the wind's started to pick up because the forecast is for more snow in Glencoe in about an hour and a half's time. So what I'll do is I'll try and put the drone up here and see if I can get some shots, and even I can get some images with the drone, that'd be really nice. And then maybe some with the river snaking. And then I've got, depending on the weather, there's one more. I'm just looking behind the camera and I can see all the mist behind me, and I'm just hoping that's not too much snow. But there's one more tree that I want to go to. Well, there's two, but because of the sake of time and timing for the weather, I'll go to the tree that's closest to the road, and all going well, that might be really dramatic, but we'll touch on that when we get there. So let's see how these shots turn out, and I'll share them with you now. I'm now just going down into the water, and I'll get some low level shots, and then we'll see what images we can get from there. So I've arrived at my next destination. There's a little tree down there by the river, and what I plan to do is go down to the river, find an area where I can take the shot that I'm looking for. It's icy cold here and there's quite a bit of wind, so it's quite chilly. So what I'll do is I'll make my way down to the side of the river and let's see what compositions we can get. Oh wow, this is really tricky. So what am I trying to achieve here? That's the tree there, and what I want to try and do, the trick with this composition is not to take the tree at this level, it's to get down really low. So if I tip the camera up, you'll see how far down my camera is in the water, because what I want to be able to do is to get down really low so that the lower branches are actually arching the top of the mountain. And wow, I hadn't realised how low I would need to go in order to achieve that. So let me fine tune the the composition, and well, hopefully these images turn out. I had no idea how tricky this was going to be. So I'll need to, because I'm so low, it's quite deep at that side of the river. Well, a wee challenge, why not? Right, so what I'll do is I'll set the camera up further back so you can see what I'm doing. And you won't be able to hear me just because the receiver's now packed in. I don't know what's happened to them. So anyway, I'll get set up. I'll film me just taking different shots. So what I'll do is I'll look for different compositions here. This is really a landscape composition. However, what I'll try and do is some portrait shots as well. I'll see if there's any close-up opportunities, and I will also see if I can move further back along the river. Well, wish me luck. Let's see if I can get back to my camera. Oh boy. And use a longer lens, although it's a higher elevation, so it's probably not going to be a nicer shot. But anyway, I'll stop rabbiting on. Let me take these shots, and yeah, if they work out, I'll share those images with you. So what I've done is I've just come further downriver, and what I'm doing is I'm just taking shots of the tree. They're not as pretty because they don't have the majestic background like we have the Three Sisters. But what I really wanted to do was kind of slow down the river, because there's a small waterfall up the top there. And then the other shot I'm looking for is as the water flows down into another waterfall and the river streams down towards the Three Sisters, I was going to stand further back in the banking, and I was going to take some shots that direction where I've got the Three Sisters in the background. I know my focus is photographing lone trees, but yeah, I can't help it. The place, with the snow the way it is absolutely stunning. And right, what I'll do is I'll take more shots, and again I'll change the compositions. I'll do landscape, I'll do portrait, just to see what turns out. And then I'll share all those images with you now. Alright, so I'm just walking up the side of the road to see if we can get to the other side of the river. It's started to get quite busy. Right, so I'm going to have to climb over here, and let's see what view we can get. If it's not worth it, I won't take any photos. I might take, over my shoulder is the Glencoe sign, so I might take the obligatory shot of the Glencoe sign with my van and the snowy hills in the background. But if you see that, I did. If you don't, I never. Right, let's get to the side of the river and see if there's any photos. Alright, so it's actually not a very good photo, but what I'll do is I'll actually share with you the image that I've just took there, and I've only taken it for comparison purposes, so you can see why I went to all the effort of taking a shot very low down with a tree. And probably you can make your own mind up whether you like the first image or the second image. So the first image I'm going to show you is the image here that I've just taken from this side of the river, shooting down the river with a tree in the foreground and the mountains in the background. But what you'll probably see is, it might be difficult to make the tree out because of all the noise for the background that's on the mountains. Now if I show you the second image, that's the image I took when I was low down, what you see is a clear arch over the mountains, and there's clear separation between the tree and the mountains. So that's what I mean by space in the composition and making sure there's no overlaps, because if that tree was to have touched that mountain, wouldn't have made a nice image. So hopefully these have all turned out, and hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you can see the difference in these two images. Alright, for our last stop, we're stopping at a famous lone tree called the Rannoch Rowan. So the Rannoch Rowan tree is quite a famous tree in this area, because the reason that trees grow on rocks like this can vary sometimes, because a lot of the times it could be just a bird flying over that's ate seeds, done their business, dropped it on, and a seed has landed on the rock, and eventually the seed has kind of grown its roots. Those roots have found cracks in the rock, and then it's kind of flourished for there. But this tree is a rowan tree, and rowan trees are famed for growing for over 200 years, and the berries that this produces in around about August, September times are edible. And rowan trees have got a great history, because they used to be used to ward off witches. So there's massive folklore around rowan trees. But this is the famous Rannoch Moor rowan. And what we've got is, on the right hand side we've got the Blackmount mountain range. So what I'll do is I'm going to use the long lens, and then we'll get some close-up shots of the tree, and then I can do a panoramic so we can get the beautiful mountains in the background all covered in snow. So what I'll do is, once I've finished, I'll share those images with you. I think we'll call it a day at the Rannoch Rowan, and I really hope this video works out, and I really hope the images turn out. So if it does, I hope you like it. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because you know it's free. And if you press the bell notification, that'll let you know the next time I post a video. So thanks very much for watching, and here's to the next video.